Mm, you're watching as the real turns.
The Addams Family.
And welcome once again to another As the Real Turns. I am your host, Daniel Soletti, and we have a lot of fun stuff for you to plan today. It's even our Halloween October episode, and we'll get into that right after our always popular entertainment update. Take it away.
This is Vincent Moore for Entertainment Update. Today's update includes 2 updates and, sadly, 2 deaths. Now let's start with some remembering. First, weatherman and entertainer Willard Scott died early last month. He was best known for reporting the weather and 100-year-old birthdays on the Today Show, and for being the first ever Ronald McDonald.
Pretty country out there, Johnny Appleseed. Take a look from Smuckers, that we're still in Ohio. From Orville, they're 100 years old too, you know. Catherine McCord of Greencastle, Indiana is 100, the oldest alum from DePaul University. Been to every country in the world practically, but always comes home to Greencastle.
Why? Isn't that McDonald's hamburger delicious?
Mom told me never to talk to strangers.
Well, your mother's right as always, but I'm Ronald McDonald. Give me a McDonald's shake.
Secondly, actor Ed Asner just died recently. One would recognize him as Lou Grant on The Mary Tyler Moore Show, Santa in Elf, the Old Man in Up, voice work, and much more.
You know what? You got spunk.
Well, yes.
I hate spunk. Tell you what, I'll try you out for a couple of weeks, see if it works out.
Oh.
If I don't like you, I'll fire you.
Right.
You don't like me? I'll fire you.
This is Daniel Soletti chiming in for a breaking in news bulletin. One more Hollywood death is that of actor Willie Garson. The New Jersey-born actor was famous for playing Stanford Blatch in the Sex and the City franchise and Mozzie in White Collar. He was also in numerous films and other television shows. He died of pancreatic cancer on September 21st. Back to you, Vincent.
If you're unhappy with what Star Trek has to offer right now, why not look forward to the new season of The Orville? The Seth MacFarlane-run show ran for 2 seasons on Fox and will be getting its 3rd on Hulu. The show is what you would call a serious parody or tribute to this sci-fi saga of Star Trek. According to the newly released teaser, you can look forward to The Orville New Horizons in March 2022.
Be silent! Evasive maneuvers.
They caught us by surprise.
Return fire.
All sections reporting heavy damage.
Captain, the quantum core has been breached.
You will surrender or you will die.
Welcome to the galaxy.
And finally, stay whelmed and get trot. October brings us a return of Young Justice. The series has gone through ups and downs, but the team of DC sidekicks comes back for its 4th season, subtitled Phantoms. Who are the Phantoms? Find out October 21st when the show premieres in HBO Max. This has been Vincent Moore for your entertainment update. Back to you, Danny, and happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween indeed to you, Vincent. Thank you so much for doing that. And there are some great updates for some great shows in there, so definitely check out stuff like The Orville and Young Justice, two of my favorites out there. So like I said, it is October and it is Halloween. I am in my Indiana Jones costume today, and we have got the perfect subject for you. It's fun, it's scary, and it's just as mysterious as the holiday in October. Today's subject is something for everyone. It's the ever-popular Scooby-Doo.
Scooby-Doo, where are you?
We can count on you, Scooby-Doo. I know we'll catch that villain.
Scooby-Dooby-Doo.
Yes, how can you not love this? Scooby-Doo, a franchise that has spanned years and years and years and years and years, and we're going to try and cram in as much as the character's popularity and franchise-ness as we can. And I've got a great guy to talk about it with. We have the ever-popular Freddy Krueger with us today. No, I'm kidding. This is my good friend Vincent. Vincent, thank you for joining us today.
Yeah, no problem.
It's gonna be a fun one, I think. So let's jump right into it. The first thing that people got into Scooby-Doo with was the first series back in the late 60s, done by the Hanna-Barbera company called Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? Now this is like the third tier that you think of when you think of Hanna-Barbera. You think first Flintstones, then Jetsons, then Scooby-Doo. And this introduced the premise of the character. You know, you have these four teenagers and their talking dog. And they basically solve mysteries of these monsters, ghouls, and ghosts. And they find out soon that, oh wait, they're not real. These are just crooks trying to get after something. And the gang here solves the mystery. And the gang is composed of the leader and trap-loving Fred Jones, the damsel in distress but quick-thinking Daphne Blake, the geek, smart one, Velma Dinkley, the ever-scared but always hungry Norval Shaggy Rogers, and then Scooby-Doo. So, tell us, Vincent, what do you think of this being like the first interpretation of Scooby-Doo?
Well, I think it was a pretty good starting point. I mean, like, they haven't really seen anything on TV before like that with, bringing kind of like a horror, like, aspect to children's programming.
Right. And I mean, it is a good introduction because horror is not necessarily for kids, but, kids get a little bit of a scare, every so often when they see these things. Because some of the monsters in this were very creative, very, very creepy looking. And I agree. I think it was a nice introduction to see, and I want to quickly say that it is nice to actually have Scooby with us today. Yes, it's an honor to have you.
Oh yeah, very nice that he could come along.
I know, out of his busy schedule too. Anyway, so this is the launching point for Scooby-Doo, and even though this show ended, many people consider what was to follow these next couple shows kind of like seasons 4, 5, 6, and so on, just with different titles and different themes. And of course, speaking of themes, you heard that excellent, memorable, popular theme from Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? It's a very catchy theme. So that next show we're going to talk about is a show weirdly called the Scooby-Doo Movies, then later on called the New Scooby-Doo Movies. And this took a break from what the original series was about, where they took the same idea of having, solving mysteries and so on, but they would insert celebrities of the time into the episodes. And when I say celebrities, these can be fictional or non-fictional. We had people like the Addams Family, Don Knotts, Sonny and Cher, Batman and Robin. The list goes on and on. Do you think this was a necessary thing for Scooby-Doo, or do you think they were just grasping at straws here?
I don't think they were necessarily grasping at straws. I mean, it was definitely, they probably could have kept going with just making like more episodes of like, the villain of the week, but definitely helped to bring in like popular celebrities of the time,
Yeah. And when they would have a real celebrity, like a real person, they do usually have the person who it is voicing them, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
My only confusion about it is, why do they call it movies?
I never really got that either. I mean, I think it's because probably like the Hollywood like celebrity connection.
Yeah, Yeah, that might not be a bad deduction from that. So good mystery solving skills.
Yeah, help the brain become more of a household name, or more so than it already was.
Exactly. Yeah, and maybe even bring, parents and adults into it too, because they, there's someone that
Recognize,
they know.
recognize the celebrities.
So, like I said, this is a similar thing. Similar formula of the original, and that would continue on. And many people consider this to be, again, seasons 4, 5, so on. And keeping with that track, once the Scooby-Doo movies and the new ones were over as well, we got another show that I'm going to insert here later on called the Scooby-Doo Show, and that's all it was called. Now, this was during a time where, you would have a lot of people. You have the blank show, the blank My Name show, and I want to give a quick shout out to my friend Dylan, who is a big fan of this theme song and this show. So there really wasn't anything exciting with this interpretation, though, because there were no celebrities. It was more like Where Are You? Why go back to this just the gang and solving monsters thing? Do you think the celebrities may have bogged it down, or do you think it was necessary? Or
I feel like I don't think the celebrities bogged it down, but they probably felt they needed to go back to like a back to basics approach, and maybe it's just they didn't want to just keep like grasping for straws with celebrities.
Yeah.
And it's good to stretch out the ideas.
Yeah, I guess it's always good because you had people maybe wanting something back to its original premise, and you can find Where Are You and then what they call the almost complete collection of the Scooby-Doo movies. This one, it's hard to find sometimes. It's more like in DVD compilations.
Yeah, like it's harder to find like on modern streaming services. Like if you look on like even HBO Max, they have like a collection of it kind of thing. But
right.
like it's fairly incomplete.
Yeah, it's a very forgotten one. But like I said in my shout out for Dylan, it does again have a memorable theme song, which is always a key point for me with any TV show. If it has a theme song I remember, I might watch it again. We are doing a lot of time jumps here. We've already gone through 3 shows, which is impressive. And we've gone through the late 60s, 70s, and now we're getting pretty much inching into the 80s now. And during the 80s, we actually were introduced to another character. There were some character changes, actually. Not only were we introduced to the most controversial and kind of infamous character, Scooby's nephew, Scrappy-Doo, which, I'm sure you want to take that glove to him sometimes. But
on occasion.
On occasion, yeah. But we also have some changes in the regular gang. For some reason, somebody said, hey, let's bank on Shaggy and Scooby because they're the most famous of the group, and I don't know, let's take Fred and Velma out and let's leave Daphne. I don't know who said that. I don't know if that's exactly how it went down, but for some reason it was that foursome, Shaggy, Scooby, Scrappy, Daphne, who were in this new show called the New Scooby-Doo Mysteries. Now, again, catchy theme song, love this, actually one of my favorite ones of the Scooby-Doo franchise. And they take the same formula, the formula really doesn't change. But my question to you, Vincent, is why did they cut the gang in half? Why did they do that, and why do you think that, do you really think like everyone got annoyed at poor Scrappy here, or what?
I kind of feel like, if anything, maybe they were just trying to, use whatever characters they felt were the most popular, whatever, like, tested the best. Probably trying to try out different things with Scrappy. I know eventually they did a few things like that, actually.
Yeah. Yeah, don't get me wrong, I don't have a problem, actually, with, Fred or Velma, because they're good characters.
Yeah, it's a little odd, but...
Yeah. Fred would show up every so often in this show, but Velma was few and far between, which was very, very sad. This foursome did stay, however, because for some reason it worked, somebody thought it worked, and they said, okay, we're going to make even more changes now. Let's not have a mystery show, where it's like a different one every week, like the Villain of the Week.
Villain of the Week, yeah.
Let's have an ongoing story here. Let's have Scooby and his 3 friends here go ahead and find a mysterious chest that is haunted sort of by, none other than Vincent Price's head. And this chest releases 13 ghosts, and the gang has to put them back together. And let's call this show The 13 Ghosts of Scooby-Doo. Now let's leave this intro running here because I want you to see it at the very end here, what I'm talking about. The change that came here is that not only did Shaggy, I think this is when it started, he changed to a red shirt. Not his classic green, but a red shirt. Yeah, there it is. And there it is. There's the other change right there. Daphne has now ditched her purple dress and green scarf, you know, the ongoing trapped in the 60s time warp. There's Vincent Price. But she's now in this like lavender jumpsuit with very short hair. What is going on with these character changes, Vincent?
I mean, I kind of feel like it's just, they're just trying to, you know, with the times changing and the styles and fashion, they're trying to just pretty much just make it as close as possible as to what's going on currently and trying to make it more like, I mean, I'm trying to think of the word, but comparative, yeah. To what was going on. This was the 80s one, yeah.
This was the 80s.
Yeah, so they're just, yeah.
Well, regardless of the changes in the characters, do you think an ongoing story arc of the group, I can't say the gang now, the group putting these ghosts in this chest here, do you think that was a good idea, not having like villain of the week?
I mean, I think it's definitely like probably the same formula of villain of the week was probably getting pretty tiring at that point, and I feel like it's kind of like comparative to what was going on in like movies and stuff at the time too.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Yeah. Well, we've been talking a lot about the TV shows that Scooby-Doo has made here, and also during this time there were a lot of specials and like one-off movies being made. And one of the most popular for me, and one of the favorite ones for me, was one that actually completely cut Daphne out too. We only banked on Shaggy, Scooby, and Scrappy. That one's called Scooby-Doo and the Reluctant Werewolf. This is one of my favorite things. Now, it's a very simple story. Follow me on this. Dracula has a monster rogues gallery here, and every year they have a road race. Well, his werewolf in his gallery there has retired, and Shaggy here, or as he says, Shaggy, is the perfect match for a new werewolf. And he doesn't want to do it, he doesn't want to compete in the race, that's why, hence, reluctant. I didn't make that up, I swear.
No.
What are your thoughts on Reluctant Werewolf?
This one, I used to have this one on VHS, and I do have some pretty fond memories of this one. I like the, I mean, like we said with the previous show of changing up the lineup of just having Shaggy and Scooby in it. It works. I think. Well, there was another girl that they added too.
Yeah, they gave Shaggy
say like a Trixie or something.
Googie, Trixie,
yeah,
something like that. She was literally. They did use the word girlfriend, and she was like a one-off girlfriend. So go figure, I guess. But I mean, maybe he got sick of dating Daphne. I have no idea. I have no idea where this is going. But yeah, no, I absolutely agree. I have fond memories of this one. I still have the DVD copy, and I admit I watch it every year because it's just still so good. And it
definitely holds up, yeah.
Yeah, and I used to quote it all the time. So if you're looking for a good Scooby-Doo thing, I highly recommend that. Let's go back to TV, though. And during the late 80s and early 90s, there was a trend going on. If you had a popular character, you would take them, and especially if they were animated, you would take them and put them into a chamber that would make them into kids or babies. Okay, now there's no chamber, but...
Might as well have been.
Might as well have been, yeah. Because you would make them into babies. And Scooby-Doo was no stranger to this because we got a show called A Pup Named Scooby-Doo, which is, again, right up there with some of my favorite TV themes here. Like I said, this was a trend, and it's a little weird, honestly. You know, seeing the gang, all of them back again together, as children, it's just... I don't understand. I watched this show and I enjoyed the show, and it is clever in a way, but do you really think it was necessary to turn them into children and get on this trend?
I mean, yeah, like you said, it's definitely just following the trend. No different than like a Muppets Babies thing or anything like that. But I used to watch the show too, and I always enjoyed it. I felt like it served as like a good origin story. Not like you said, I don't know if it was completely necessary, but I mean, it works though.
Yeah.
First attempt at doing one of those.
Yeah, I agree, and I do like the fact that the Mystery Machine, which is usually the gang's hippie 60s van type thing, is a skateboard in this one.
Yeah,
I like that.
Of course it is.
That's clever. That's really clever. Also, you saw in the intro there, Scooby Snacks, which is Scooby-Doo's favorite dog treat, turns him, like, gives him powers sometimes, and we're going to talk about an instance where that happened too later on. But let's again now jump away from TV. We've had the same formula for a long time now. We've had, these teenagers solve the mystery. Oh my gosh, it's a crook, villain of the week. Sure, the werewolf thing was clever, having some real monsters in there. And sure, having them as kids was different, but it was always the same thing.
Same central theme. Yeah.
Exactly. That is all until a Japanese animation company came around, and I'm blanking on the name, came around and changed the game entirely. Because here we enter 1998, and we are given Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island. Now, this was a trend of 4 films, starting with Zombie Island, and we would get... Zombie Island had the gang going off by themselves. They decided to disband the band sort of because they're older. They aged the gang, but they all come back for Daphne's new TV show to find out that an island in the south is really haunted by zombies. Tell us about Zombie Island.
So just as much as I was fond for Reluctant Werewolf, this one, probably this quadrilogy, this is the one that I had definitely the most fond memories of, and I always loved like we said, they did it before with trying to make the villains actually real, but this is the first one that really felt like this is some actual like danger. Like the group's actually in a little bit of danger compared to the old ones, like Monster of the Week.
Exactly, and I like I said, I do like the fact that they aged them, made them young adults, sort of.
Yeah, they don't seem like teenagers.
Exactly. Yeah. Do you think that helped the story, or do you think they should have remained, meddling kids?
I think it works well. Like them all, like they split apart. Like Daphne has the job in New York, and then they come back together. It definitely goes along with the darker theme.
Agreed.
Old as you say you are, then I'll bet you're the one who found Morgan Moonscar's treasure.
Morgan Moonscar. He was the cause of all of this. I was one of a group of settlers who made this island our home. We looked to our cat god for a bountiful harvest. Until that night, when he came ashore. He drove the islanders into the bayou. All except for Lena and myself. We uttered a curse on the pirates to destroy them as they had destroyed our island. Our wish was granted. We became cat creatures and destroyed the pirates. Only afterwards did we discover that invoking the cat god's power had cursed us as well.
Over the years, boats continued to come to our island. One was full of spice traders who started a pepper plantation. The plantation flourished.
At least until the harvest moon. Sometimes it became necessary for Lena to lure outsiders back to the island.
Just like you lured us.
I've had years of practice. And those zombies are just the poor souls you drained. They were just trying to warn us so we wouldn't suffer the same fate they did.
Pretty smart for a television reporter.
Well,
it works. Yeah,
it does work, and it definitely worked because, as you said, this is a quadrilogy here. It spawned 3 more films, and the next one we'll talk about is something called Witch's Ghost, and that has a New England flair to it because it takes place in New England, and you have the idea of a witch haunting this town, but then there's actually a real witch haunting the town, a ghost of one, and they're all being controlled by the most terrifying man in the world, Tim Curry. Ah! What are your thoughts on Witch's Ghost?
Well, I'm glad you brought up Tim Curry, though, because he is definitely one of my favorite parts of that movie. And I do like the whole, like, it goes along with, like, New England and, like, Stephen King, for example. Basically, he's your New England writer, and then they put a nice little twist on it with him being, like, his ancestors are, like, the whole Wicca thing. Yeah, and I mean, also one of the most memorable parts in this is that we get a recurring group of guest stars in the Scooby-Doo fandom now, the Ever Popular Hex Girls, which is a band that kind of plays on vampires, but it's a rock band. And if you ever listen to the Witch's Ghost soundtrack, all of the songs they've done were on there. Not too bad, actually. No, like,
Wind, fire, and air. We may look bad, but we don't care. We ride the wind, we feel the fire. To love the earth is our one desire. To love the earth is our one desire. Love the earth, it's only fair. It's one big earth that we must share. We love the earth with all our fire. It's in our souls, our one desire. Earth, wind, fire, and air. We may look bad, but we don't care.
I always felt like if they were actual like voice actors and like they actually like some of the people actually did actual music, but like I always felt they were good enough to be like an actual band. Yeah. They could have if they wanted to. They could have made it, same as like anything else, like Gorillaz or any of the other animated bands. Sure, yeah. So yeah, and then we got our third installment in this series, which was Scooby-Doo and the Alien Invaders. Now, many call this the weak link of this quadrilogy, but I don't think it's too bad. This one features around the gang going out west, and it first seems like a normal Scooby-Doo adventure. We find out these aliens are invading, but oh wait, it's just guys in masks. But wait, Scooby and Shaggy find real girlfriends, and they're the real aliens. Thoughts? I like you said, a lot of people find this movie to be like the weaker link of the four, but I mean, I never felt that way. I feel like, there's an obvious like decline, and like they're trying to lessen the darker tones a little bit by adding comedy and like the whole love story thing with like Shaggy and the girlfriend, Shaggy, Scooby, and the girlfriends. Yeah. But like it has like additions of levity, but it's still got some pretty darker themes and like the whole like alien invasion thing. Yeah. I mean. I don't feel like it suffers that badly. For me, the highlight of it is Shaggy's dream sequence musical number about fantasizing about his girlfriend there, because it's just super funny and super ridiculous. I might splice it in here because it is that memorable, honestly.
I'll take this girl on a tour of the world, going port to port. We'll spend all our time, every single last time, at the best food courts. Ruby, her smile so bright it lights up my romantic feelings, and best best of all, she's so tall, like I won't have to reach for high things. And even when I'm chasing ghosts, I'll quit in time for dinner, 6 o'clock at the most. How groovy, just us two, so groovy. Oh, forget Scooby-Doo. Groovy, our love will never be blue.
Speaking of girlfriends, though, in these 4 movies, there was always the idea that there was something going on. But do you see maybe a little bit of a connection between Fred and Daphne in these films now? A little bit of a deeper connection?
No, even starting with Zombie Island, you can see it right there. Because like he went along with her to like New York kind of thing. It was New York, I believe, yeah. But he went along and he helped her with her TV show, and he was like a camera guy. And yeah, no, they cemented that they're definitely some kind of couple.
Yeah, and poor Velma's been kicked to the side. but oh well. So finally, and finally in this quadrilogy, we end with a film called Scooby-Doo and the Cyber Chase. And for me, this is the one that I actually have seen the least of. It's not. I'm not saying it's a weaker link or anything, but for me, I just haven't seen it enough. And it basically consists of the gang being created into a video game. There's a video computer game based off of them, and this virus wants to attack them and go after them and ruin the day. Have I got that right, pretty much?
Yeah, pretty close to that. It's essentially the plot of that.
Yeah. But this one kind of detracts because the virus turns out to be a guy in a mask, doesn't it?
Kind of, yeah. Because like it's not so much it's the actual virus when they're in like the game, like kind of digital world, but then there is a a component to a man in the mask in the real world when he comes out.
Right. I don't know. I mean, I feel like it does have the same effect, but something was lacking, like in the first 3, I think, regarding Cyber Chase.
I don't necessarily feel like it's lacking. I feel more that it was a kind of a transitional period from like the that Japanese company, the darker 90s tone into like what would come next.
Yeah. And
you could see something was changing.
They still animated it though, which was nice. So it's still part of the collection.
Along with that, you could see the animation just changing from the 90s into 2000s as well, where they got away from like the darker like hand-drawn stuff, and they were starting to insert a little bit of the digital into it.
Exactly. I mean,
haven't you had enough for one day?
Zoinks! Look! What are you doing, Scoob?
Now that's what I call hacking.
Hacking and Scooby snacking. Scooby-Dooby-Doo!
If you are looking for some good Scooby-Doo adventures, I do highly recommend this quadrilogy because it is by far some of Scooby-Doo's best material.
Yeah, if you've never seen Scooby-Doo, I mean, this is a very good jumping in point for anyone, honestly.
Absolutely. I mean, don't disregard any of the other shows or films.
No, of course not. Yeah,
absolutely not. But definitely jump into these because this is good stuff right there.
Top tier of what Scooby-Doo has to offer.
Top tier. Unfortunately, though, now that we're into the 2000s, after these great direct-to-video movies, somebody out there said, "Well, we've done direct-to-video movies. How about a theatrical movie?" And they said, "Okay." And they said, "How about a theatrical live-action movie?" And they said, "Oh." So in 2002, we got the Scooby-Doo movie, and I think we have the trailer here now. I love this trailer, and when I first saw it, I thought, oh my gosh, they got me, because I want to let this run actually. You watch this trailer, and we'll mention it closer to the end of it. You tell me, what does this trailer look like it's for? But tell me about the Scooby-Doo movie for now, Vincent. What are your thoughts on this?
So like it was directed by James Gunn. Not a lot, like some people know that, but not a lot. And
Guardians.
Yeah, Guardians of the Galaxy, Slither, even.
Okay.
He went on to do a lot of horror stuff.
In the summer of
like you can see just even by the trailer, basically, like you could tell they were trying to go for like slasher kind of.
Oh, not even right here.
Yeah.
Look what they're going for. Tell me that.
Forgot about that for a second. The Batman
It
connection.
looks like a Batman film, which is brilliant, but.
Yeah,
yeah.
Like you could see that they were going for the style of like a kind of like a Scream or like something like that, like the whole like haunted house setup. Like that's what was going on at the time. So,
but the film proper, on the other hand, is not the biggest success.
Not a fan of the film.
No, it's like. Okay, so the casting in this was interesting because we had Fred, played by Fred E. Prince Jr.
Yeah.
And his soon-to-be wife, Sarah Michelle Gellar, which is kind of cool. Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Yeah.
And I'm blanking on who played Velma. I do apologize to that actress. I'm very sorry.
Yeah, I'm blanking as well.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
But then we had current voice actor of Shaggy, Matthew Lillard, who, as bad and confusing as this movie is, puts in one heck of a performance as Shaggy, because I swear they just said, "Here, Matthew, we want you to play Shaggy," and he just went full throttle with it.
I think he did a good job. He's one of the best parts of that movie, honestly, and that's, I mean, this is probably what netted him like being the voice actor for the rest of the series, not always, but like usually he's the go-to for Shaggy's voice.
Yeah, I mean, we've had other guests, we've had other voice people play Shaggy. We had, for a long time, Casey Kasem, radio DJ, as Shaggy, and then during those Japanese animated films, we had Billy West in Zombie Island and Scott Ines, who would do other voice acting. And if I'm not correct, I believe he also voices Robin in Teen Titans. I think that's Scott Ines.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's kind of cool, and so yeah, and so it was really nice that here's this guy playing Shaggy, and now is the current voice of him, which is really, really cool.
What kind of performance do you call that? You made me sound like a total space cadet, man.
I'm sorry you feel that way. I was trying to be real to your character.
If you like goof on me in the sequel, I'm coming after you.
Yeah, and I'll give you a Scooby smack.
Definitely.
He's not the only person. They're not the only people in this film. We also have Rowan Atkinson in this movie, and
oh yeah.
The whole idea of this movie is that they kind of go the Zombie Island route. They split up. They come back together to go to this island, sounding really familiar.
Very.
Except this island is like a haunted amusement park, and there are real monsters that are really poorly CGI'd, and
I mean, poor, but I mean, it's one like I said before. It's one of those aging kind of things.
It's 2002.
It was state of the art for its time.
And then we find out, oh wait, there's like this soul possession thing, and it's controlled by Scrappy. Anybody else confused out there?
The fact that I really feel like with the whole like the Soul Cube thing, like I forget what it was called, but
the Tesseract. We'll call it the Tesseract.
I always felt like they were clearly going for like a Hellraiser kind of like like cube thing, but it works though.
I mean, a lot of people question this movie. A lot of people are like, "Wait, what the heck's going on here? Why are they acting this way?" There were a lot of ups and downs with this movie. A few more downs. And then, if you want to talk about animated stuff, Scooby himself in it, they tried to make him look more like a real...
Yeah. The same, like, the current trend is, like, you got to make it look as real as possible in the animated way. It was the same thing with the monsters, too. They both had that same style.
Yeah. And, I mean, they made him try to look like a real Great Dane, but it was... Yeah. But something was obviously done right with this, because 2 years later we got a sequel in the form of Scooby-Doo 2: Monsters Unleashed, and this one kind of looks back on the old cartoons, because they say, oh yeah, we've donated all these costumes of the crooks to this museum, and we, the Mystery Incorporated gang, the Scooby Gang, are donating these, and oh wait, the suits are possessed. Ah. Am I making too much fun of it, or am I true?
No, I mean, I don't think you're making fun of it, because I guess it's you could look at it as like a kind of like a cheap way to get back to back to the man in the mask kind of thing. Well, not really, because they're possessed, but I mean, one of my favorite theories is that this movie actually works better as a the first movie. It works better as like a beginning one, and then the first movie works better as a sequel, honestly. Because like this feels like something they should have done like for the first one, because this movie really is like everything you know about Scooby-Doo, like everything you know and love, and just in live action form.
That is actually a really good point. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that a lot. But yeah, I mean, if you haven't guessed already, there's a lot of spoilers here in this show. But we also find out that the reporter in this, played by strangest Batgirl ever, Alicia Silverstone, is the villain. Okay.
I feel like they were trying to be like, cutting with that kind of cutting edge, or not cutting edge, but they probably felt like have that be like, the female twist kind of thing.
Clever.
Yeah,
they're trying to be clever.
Yeah, they're trying to be as clever as possible.
Well, they did give Velma a love interest in this one, though. They gave her love interest is Seth Green. Sure, why not?
They kind of go off and on with Shaggy being her love interest.
That's true.
So,
that's true.
Yeah, if they wanted to go that direction, that works too.
Yeah. Well, something clicked with these movies, as strange as they were, because in these early 2000 years, we got another TV show, and in my opinion, one of the better Scooby-Doo TV shows, simply called What's New, Scooby-Doo. And so this show was very popular, done by Warner Brothers Entertainment Animation, and it basically saw a whole redesign of the Scooby Gang. You can see already right here in the intro, unlike, being again stuck in a time warp there with the outfits, they've all changed outfits pretty much except for Shaggy and Velma, but like Fred has a nice sweater going on, Daphne has a different dress, the animation looks super nice. Now again, they did go for the villain of the week type thing.
Yeah.
But they would bring back things from their history, like they brought back the Hex Girls. They still drove the same 60s Mystery Machine, so on and so forth. And you were saying before we started the show here that you hadn't seen a lot of this show.
I mean, I have, but like for whatever reason, like now even looking at the intro, like some of it's kind of starting to flood back. But yeah, no, I definitely remember watching this, but like off the top of my head, like I don't remember as many of like the villains and everything. Like I can easily remember them from like the '60s show and like a lot of the other things we talked about. But
yeah. I understand that, but yeah, no, this was certainly one of my favorite shows. I think I watched this more than anything done in the 20th century. I would watch those later on.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, this was big, and it was so big that it spawned a bunch of movies.
I was gonna say that. Yeah, no, like it definitely it stuck with people. It was popular enough that like this was the style they ended up using for like all those movies in the 2000s.
Yeah.
Forget when the cutoff was and they started using a different style, but it was quite a while.
It was. I mean, and if you're a Scooby-Doo fan, everybody knows these types of movies. They have like Chill Out Scooby-Doo, Aloha Scooby-Doo, Scooby-Doo and the
Legend. Yeah, well, there was so many, like Legend of the Thanasaur, the Samurai Sword. Like they just, they did everything with this style.
Monster of Mexico.
I think that was one of the Monster of Mexico. That was one of the ones that Legend of the Vampire.
Legend of the Vampire.
Had Hex Girls come back.
Yeah, and again, they brought back the Hex Girls for that too. So yeah, no, I like how they bring back references from their past, to keep the continuity.
And update it, yeah.
Because I'm sure if something sparks with someone, they want to keep that going, which is cool. So, you wouldn't think that with all this popularity of this new kind of rebirth of Scooby-Doo going on, that they wouldn't stop this good trend they had. This successful TV show, all these movies. No, Forget those. Nobody cares about them. Anyway, come a very popular Saturday morning TV block called Kids WB.
Just a little popular.
Just a little popular.
Yeah, a little bit.
A little bit. And they say, hey, we got a new Scooby-Doo show for you. Great! What do we got? We have a show called Scooby-Doo, Shaggy and Scooby-Doo Get a Clue. Ooh. Yeah, this kind of hurts a lot, actually, to be honest. Because, think of it this way. We are coming back to the trend of banking on Shaggy and Scooby only. And Shaggy has inherited a mansion from his missing uncle. And they have to find and those two have to find Shaggy's uncle from this mysterious, kind of Bondian villain and his henchmen. And Shaggy and Scooby have to act like spies.
Yeah, like this was a case for me of just the right place at the right time. Because I mean, like I saw so much of this. Cause like I would, I'd wake up every Saturday, Kids WB, watch it.
Sure.
And it's very strange.
Very strange.
I don't feel like this one. It's still good. Like this is not just scraping the bottom of the barrel. Like we'll get to that, in a little bit. I'm sure you know which one I'm thinking.
I do.
Of, but no, it was an interesting show. Like
I feel like they were, pushing that envelope so far that it's like, oh man, there's nothing else to open up here, because as much as I love Scooby-Doo, having them be like James Bond spies and going after a Blofeld type character seems very, very odd.
Yeah, it's not bad. Like I said, it's not bad at all, but it's definitely like the furthest departure from like the original formula.
Exactly. I mean,
yeah.
I really think that and I really think that they could have done something a little bit better. And if you remember, if those of you who know me and have heard the original radio version of As the Real Turns, in our Scooby-Doo episode, we talked about how, first of all, we did not want to hear that heavy metal song all day long, even though the song insists we're going to sing the song all day long. Also, the fact that why is it when Scooby eats a Scooby snack he turns into some kind of superpower? He can become invisible, super strong, super fast.
Turns into Dynamite essentially.
Yeah, it's like what the heck happened here?
They just I like we said, like they did it in the past with like trying to like change up the crew or like adding in new members or like changing outfits and stuff, but like this is just like they probably were in the writer's room just like, okay, we've done this so many times of like making it different. How what are we gonna do like this time? Like how different are we gonna go? And then they just they settled on this, but
I don't know.
I think it worked for the time though. Like I forget, did this only have one season or
maybe two? They might have squeaked out two with this one, but it's like if you're never seen Scooby-Doo and you're watching this and trying to find out which one you want to watch.
Know exactly where we're going with that. This is not the one I would show to someone. Like we said, like the 90s movies. We said that's something you'd show someone. No, this is something you're gonna keep on the side for them.
Pretty much, yeah. If you don't like the person, this is what you show.
Oh yeah, you mess with them and you show this one first.
I will say though, you mentioned quickly Dynamite there, kind of like Scooby's cousin or something or friend.
Oh yeah, no. So that Dynamite, but like earlier we were talking about like Scrappy, and I was gonna bring up Scooby-Dum.
Oh yes.
Yeah. Or even the beginning of the show, you brought up Astro or Jetsons, and I was gonna say Astro. That's literally just Scooby-Doo, but in space.
Yeah, kinda.
Yeah.
Scooby-Dum though, that was like one of the only key points there from the Scooby-Doo show. That's where he was introduced.
Yeah.
So you can see that in the theme song
and
there.
that never made it anywhere.
No.
Yeah.
No. So they thought, Get a Clue really didn't work, especially since Shaggy's name is in the first word out. Shouldn't it be the actual main character here? But Cartoon Network comes around, who back in the day used to show reruns of the old cartoons and stuff like that.
Yeah, all the old Hanna-Barbera stuff in general, yeah.
Exactly. And they came around and said, hey, let's make another Scooby-Doo movie. Okay, sure, let's do it. No, we want to do another live-action movie. 2 questions. Your name is Cartoon Network, and Did you not see the other 2 films that we made? That didn't matter.
That was, I believe that was the same era where the Cartoon Network in general, they were on the whole kick of doing live-action programming. So it was just, that's place and time. That's what they were doing.
We got, the movie is called Scooby-Doo, The Mystery Begins. And this one is very, very different. First of all, we have a dark-haired Freddy that you'll see, a dark-haired Shaggy, and like we said before in the early 2000 films, they tried to make Scooby-Doo look real, but now he looks even more cartoon than real. What? And so the idea of this movie is to give you the sense that this is how the gang got together. This is how they got started. This is how everything came together.
Basically doing a pup named Scooby-Doo origin story, but they're just choosing when they're, in high school at this point.
Sure. Did you see this?
Yeah, I did see this. I remember watching this on TV, and it was another example of I felt like it was odd, but I didn't hate it. I mean, I was very disappointed they didn't bring back all the the live action cast from before, like Matt Lillard and everything, but it wasn't terrible.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, this one is certainly better than it's kind of on the same tier sometimes as the first 2 live action films, but
kind of getting ahead of ourselves a little bit, but this one, they did what two of these,
2 of
right?
these, yeah. We got a sequel,
and then the Lake Monster one was the other one.
Lake Monster, yeah.
Yeah, but this one was it was okay. And you get to the sequel, and then that's a whole other conversation. But
was the sequel that bad?
I don't remember it being bad, but I remember it's been a long time since I watched it. Probably I don't think I've watched it since it was on Cartoon Network, but
yeah.
I remember not liking the sequel as much as the first one.
Well, that happens a lot with any movie, honestly. But I think this is kind of like with Get a Clue there. You may want to set this aside and not show this to people necessarily until they've gotten into that groove or vein.
Not so much as Get a Clue, but
yeah. Something pretty cool though. They said, okay, let's see if we can go back to Villain of the Week, but also incorporate something from 13 Ghosts there and have an ongoing story. So Cartoon Network stepped up to the plate again and said, hey, we got a show for you with some deep character development going on. And it's simply called Scooby-Doo Mystery Incorporated, which is the real name of the gang. So Scooby-Doo Mystery Incorporated, like I said, brought the elements of a Villain of the Week and the ongoing story arc to play here, because we have, a romance between Fred and Daphne, a possible romance between Velma and Shaggy, this mysterious locket going on. Why are all these monsters continuously coming to this one town? So on and so forth. And we even have Matthew Lillard voicing Shaggy
back,
now. Now he's the official voice. What do we think of Mr. Incorporated?
I definitely have a lot of love for this show. I feel like it's they did, they tried to go more of an ongoing story, but it worked. I honestly think this is one of the better entries in the whole Scooby-Doo franchise, especially for animated.
That's true. I mean, this is one of those shows that was criminally canceled after only 2 seasons.
There was a few Cartoon Network shows from that, early, 2010s?
2010s.
Early 2010s that they only gave one or 2 seasons to. There's quite a few.
So I mean, it's easily obtainable if you want to watch it. You can certainly watch it in a nice quick viewing. But yeah, no, I like the idea of these possible romances going on.
Why didn't you text me last night? I waited up for you.
Me and Scoob ordered a pizza and then we just fell asleep watching a Vincent Van Gogh movie.
Okay, apology accepted. But I still missed you.
Not here. Velma not in public.
Why? Daphne and Fred are going to find out sooner or later.
I'm not worried about them. It's Scooby-Doo. He's my best friend.
I think Scooby's actually speaking in more full sentences. I mean, we all know how to do Scooby, Raggy, and, something like that.
all the R's and everything.
Exactly. but now he's like speaking in full sentences, which can go like, wait, why'd you do that? But
it doesn't break his character
Yeah.
badly.
I really did like this series actually, because I was actually a late viewer to it, but it was really good, really good stuff. So I do recommend this one, I think.
Fred, I found something.
Could be a clue. Good work, Daphne.
Thanks, Fred. You're so sweet. It's okay. We can talk later.
All right, you see what happens when you kids stick your noses where they don't belong? People get cocooned!
Like, man, we found him like that.
Sheriff, there was a monster.
Quiet! From this point forward, this is a crime scene and future tourist attraction. Stay out of it.
Unfortunately, though, the next show that they thought of wasn't so good, and we'll splice this in a little bit later. This is called Be Cool, Scooby-Doo. It was animated in a way that was kind of like, Family Guy, sort of, kind of like that style.
It was what's his name?
Oh yeah, I love him.
Yeah.
Love him.
What's his name? Yeah.
He's great.
Yeah, but it was not Seth Green, but Seth MacFarlane.
Seth MacFarlane. Was it actually him who did it?
Yeah, that's why it has such a similarity to the Family Guy.
Well, you were telling me before that this was not the best entry by a long shot.
No,
why was that?
Like I was saying, get a clue with odd, but no, this is what I was talking about. This is you're scraping the bottom of the barrel, and I didn't watch much of it. I think I was excited for a new Scooby-Doo show, and then I checked out an episode, and it's terrible. The animation is bad. It was in that trend that people were doing simple animation, and they were dumbing down animation to cut costs. Not in the same way as the 60s or 70s, but everything just got round, and the animation got lazy, and other than that, it broke all the character archetypes that we know of Shaggy, Scooby, Fred.
Yeah.
Well, Shaggy and Scooby weren't that different, but Fred, Daphne, Velma, they completely changed what their characters were, and I think they did the dumb but the stereotype, the dumb blonde kind of thing for Daphne.
Yeah.
Or I think Fred they made really stupid too. And it broke everything.
See, Fred, you could kind of play with that a little bit, kind of being the, like I said before, trap-loving leader. But
yeah.
But Daphne, we've seen, can be quick on her feet. In What's New, Scooby-Doo, she's coming up with these things in her makeup kit and stuff like that. It's brilliant.
Or with Fred, the previous show, Mystery Incorporated, they kind of leaned into the little bit of obliviousness with Fred, but this just completely destroyed it.
Yeah, kind of going Lola Bunny territory from Looney Tunes.
That's what I was going for. They unnecessary making a character just dumb for just jokes.
No reasons at all. And I'll admit here, I'm not the biggest Seth MacFarlane fan. I love his work for Orville, and his singing career is fantastic. His other works, that's just me though. So doing that to poor Scooby-Doo, I don't know.
If you he's good. If you had him in you put him in on your show in a writer's room or something, he definitely could contribute a lot to a show. Sure. But I just don't think it was a very wise decision to just let him have the reins completely.
Yeah. Luckily though for us, that left quickly too, and
luckily
they now have a new show still currently on, and it's called Scooby-Doo and Guess Who. Now this comes back to the trend of the Scooby-Doo movies, because in every episode they have a celebrity, and these celebrities range from anywhere Sherlock Holmes and Batman, voiced by Kevin Conroy, I might add, to Jaleel White and the basketball player Steph Curry, I think, is in there. And and then name after name after name, and it's crazy.
It's still going too.
It's still going.
Before we were talking about this, before I came on today, I didn't even realize that they had given it a third season. I thought it was just the first one. Actually, I didn't even see the second one. Now that I think about it.
But I actually like the fact that they brought this formula back of the celebrities. It's again kind of weird to wait, how the heck did you get here, celebrity? But
they have fun with that though. Actually you know what I'm thinking of probably, but what they literally it's they turn to the camera kind of thing, and they're I'm thinking of like the Weird Al episode, but they'll literally
Weird
be,
Al,
be like, "Oh, it's Weird Al Yankovic," like, and they say it's like the audience.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, yeah, no, that I like that aspect. That they know they're in a parody. They know what they're doing, and
It's very mildly self-aware. Yeah.
Yeah. I quickly only want to cover about this one because we are running low on time, but I quickly just want to mention Scoob, which was the recent film made that was kind of iffy. Any quick thoughts on that?
Yeah, Scoob, like once again, like I said before, I was excited to, it's always great, just more Scooby-Doo, it's always a fun time, but, like, they basically, they didn't break the characters as much as, be cool, but basically, like, they were trying to make more of, like, the whole cinematic universe thing that everybody's doing. It was trying to make a Hanna-Barbera cinematic universe, and it felt good. It was good, but it just didn't feel completely Scooby-Doo. It just felt like, here they are.
Yeah. I mean, you did have some star quality in it. You had, like, Zac Efron and Amanda Seyfried in it. So you did have star quality, but it wasn't the best of subjects.
It's okay. It's somewhere in the middle.
All right, so we have some final thoughts that I quickly want to rapid fire through here. We've had Scooby-Doo has had a lot of crossovers, with the celebrities and stuff like that, but even stuff like other Cartoon Network stars like Courage the Cowardly Dog.
Yeah, the most recent one, I don't know if it was the most recent now, but recently this year they did a crossover Courage the Cowardly Dog, and that one was really good. Like, I hadn't watched the new Scooby-Doo movie in quite a while, and I didn't know what they were going to do with it, but they perfectly blended the two characters together and like how things work in each of their universes.
Absolutely. Also, in the early 2000s, when they were still showing the reruns, Cartoon Network did a series of promos that you can see all spliced together on YouTube called the Scooby-Doo Project, taking off the Blair Witch Project.
Yeah, a few years after, yeah.
Very cleverly done, very well done, having live action and cartoon hybrid put together, so I do like that.
In a good way, yeah.
In a good way. A really kind of mysterious, forgotten live action film, which I think many people want to forget, and I don't want to even dwell on it, is called Velma and Daphne.
I know about it, and I saw like the promotional stuff, like the posters and everything, but I never watched it. I saw that, and I was just like, I don't want any part of that.
Yeah. Also, like I mentioned before, if you like Scooby-Doo and you want to hear more about it, want to see some more interesting facts and hear some more music, check out the radio show we did on As the Real Turns on the Daniel Soletti YouTube channel. Really fun stuff. Also, since it's October and Halloween season, every year I do a Twilight Zone Halloween film episode thing. And the first 5 are up there already, and then actually I'm working on number 6 right now. And Vincent is a director of this one, so we're both directing segments.
Co-directing it with 2 of my friends from Psychosis Entertainment.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so that's in the works right now. It's been fun with that, putting that together.
It's a lot of fun, and that should be up the week of Halloween, the complete film together.
Pretty soon.
So, before we run out of time, I want to quickly play our favorite game in the whole world. This is a really fun thing that we like to do. It's time for another edition of Who Are You? Love that song. Anyway, so, Vincent, this is the part of the show where I play a clip for you, and it might be from a film, might be from a TV show, nothing to do with Scooby-Doo, I can promise you that. But you have to tell me who it is and or what it is from. Very simple premise, and at the end I give you points, but the points don't matter anyway.
Oh,
so,
unfortunate.
I know. So here's your clip, get ready, get set, here we go.
Hey, you want to see something really scary?
You bet.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, this is really, really scary now.
I trust you.
Okay, pull the car over.
Pull the car over?
Ooh. All right. So there is your clip. And so what is your guess?
I almost want to, maybe it's because I'm just thinking Scooby-Doo, but I want to say Supernatural almost, because it sounds like a duo in a car.
Supernatural, which is another crossover they did. Yeah. So Supernatural, you're saying. Let's see if you're right. What's the answer?
Hey.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Yeah. But hey, that was a good guess. That was a nice connection to today's show. Now. It was actually Dan Aykroyd and Albert Brooks from the Twilight Zone movie back in 1983. Definitely a must-watch. I know sometimes it can leave a bad taste in the mouth, especially with the behind-the-scenes accident, but a very good movie. So, Vincent, I want to thank you so much for coming on to the show, for
Yeah.
especially dressing up, which is really, really cool. I want to thank the other Vincent for doing our entertainment update, and for Matt being our tech wizard guru behind the scenes. Yeah, you like that. I am Daniel Saletti. We will see you next time. Happy Halloween, and that is a wrap. Scooby-Dooby-Doo!
Scooby-Dooby-Doo!